Axillary artery is the continuation of subclavian artery. See here in the picture, this is the subclavian artery and the continuation of this is called as axillary artery and further continues as brachial artery. Now we will discuss today about axillary artery. The axillary artery starts from the outer border of the first rib. This is the first rib, and from the outer border of the first rib to the teres major muscle, lower border of teres major muscle, up to here it is called as axillary artery, and from there it is called as brachial artery. This axillary artery is different and varies with the position of the arm. And the pectoralis minor muscle, this is the pectoralis minor muscle. This divides the axillary artery into three parts. First part, second part, and the third part. The first part is above the pectoralis minor muscle, and the second part is beneath the pectoralis minor muscle. Here you can see. And the third part below the pectoralis muscle. This is the axillary artery. It divides into three parts by the pectoralis minor muscle. And according to the position, the first part is proximal, that is superior. The second part is deep, and the third part is distal. This is proximal, this is distal, and this is deep. Next, coming to relations. Relations of axillary artery. This axillary artery anteriorly, it has skin, superficial fascia, deep fascia. The skin, superficial fascia and deep fascia is common to all the parts mostly. So these are the upper anterior structures. After that we will find clavicular part of pectoralis major muscle. See here in this picture you can see this is the pectoralis major muscle. And the clavicular part, this which is purple in color, this is the clavicular part of pectoralis major muscle. This is the relation of the first part of axillary artery. Next, coming to clavipectoral fascia with cephalic vein. See, the clavipectoral fascia with cephalic vein, lateral pectoral nerve and thoracoacromial artery, these are present beneath the clavicular part of the pectoralis major muscle. Then next, loop of communication between the lateral and medial pectoral nerves. As we discussed in the brachial plexus, the lateral and medial pectoral nerves, this loop. Here you can see in the second picture, this loop which is purple in color. This is the relation of first part of brachial artery. See, it's very easy. Skin, superficial fascia, deep fascia are common. Next, coming to the clavicular part of pectoralis muscle, then clavipectoral fascia, then the loop of communication between the lateral and pectoral nerves. Next, coming to posterior. Posteriorly, the first intercostal space with the external intercostal muscles. As we know, here we have ribs and the intercostal space posteriorly. First and second digitations of serratus anterior muscle. Here, which is light green in color. This is the serratus anterior muscle. It is present posteriorly to the axillary artery. The next is medial cord of brachial plexus. See, this is the medial cord, purple color. In the first part anteriorly, we will have loop of communication between the lateral and pectoral nerves. Lateral and medial pectoral nerves. Here in the posterior, we will have a relation with the medial cord and serratus anterior muscle. Next, coming to lateral. Laterally, we will have lateral and posterior cord of brachial plexus. See, in the brachial plexus, as we explained in the previous video about brachial plexus, these brachial plexus, which are divided into three cords: lateral cord, posterior cord, and medial cord. These changes their position according to different part of the axillary artery. This we will explain in next video. And for now, you remember that posteriorly medial branch cord of brachial plexus and laterally lateral and posterior cord of brachial plexus. See in the third down picture, you can see clearly this is the lateral cord, this is the posterior cord which are laterally to the axillary artery, and this is the medial cord which is posterior to the axillary artery, and this is the loop of communication between the lateral and pectoral nerves which is anteriorly. Next, coming to medially. Medially, we will have axillary vein throughout. Next, coming to the second part of the axillary artery. The second part of the axillary artery is beneath the pectoralis minor muscle, which is deeply situated, and we will see its relation. Here it's a simplified table which I made. See second part, anteriorly pectoralis minor muscle, posteriorly posterior cord of brachial plexus and subscapularis, medially medial cord of brachial plexus and axillary vein, and laterally lateral cord of brachial plexus. See in the first part of the axillary artery, we can see here the brachial plexus, the cords, lateral and posterior cords on lateral side, and medial cord is in the posterior side. Now coming to the second part, here all the cords are in their position. Posteriorly posterior cord, medially medial cord, and laterally lateral cord. So this is also an important point, that brachial plexus in the second part of the axillary artery, they are in their positions according to their names, but not in the first part. This is very easy to remember. And posteriorly subscapularis. We know we have scapula in the posterior, so subscapularis muscle, and medially every time axillary vein is continuous. And this is the picture we have to draw in exams, which is given in textbooks. This is the skin, superficial fascia, deep. These are the common parts. Pectoralis. This is the first part. It's common in everything. Here is the pectoralis minor muscle anteriorly, you can see here. And coming to posterior, this is the posterior cord which is yellow in color. And this is subscapularis muscle anteriorly, posteriorly. Next coming to medially. Medially we will have medial pectoral nerve and axillary vein. Next medial cord, and coming to lateral, we will have lateral cord of brachial plexus and also short head of biceps and coracobrachialis. This is very easy diagram. Next coming to the third part of axillary artery. In the third part of axillary artery, we will have medial root of medial nerve. See in the previous second part, the brachial plexus was in their position according to the cords. Now here the roots. Medial root of medial nerve is present anteriorly. This is anteriorly, and posteriorly we will find axillary nerve, radial nerve, and teres major in the lower part. And medially we will find axillary vein, medial cutaneous nerve of forearm, and ulnar nerve. You can see here. And laterally we will find musculocutaneous nerve. See, these nerves are very easy to remember. See here, anteriorly I said medial root of median nerve. So this median nerve is dividing in this part as medial root and lateral root. So medial root of median nerve is anteriorly, and posteriorly, as we know, radial nerve is the nerve which supplies to the posterior part of the muscles of the arm. So radial nerve posteriorly, and axillary nerve to teres major, which is posterior. Medially axillary vein throughout, and medial cutaneous nerve for forearm, and ulnar nerve. Ulnar nerve is medial nerve. And next is the laterally is musculocutaneous nerve. This is the diagram. And next coming to the branches. This axillary artery, which is divided into three parts by pectoralis minor muscle. This is the pectoralis minor muscle, and it is divided into three parts, and each part again is divided into, and again they have branches. The first part have one branch, very nice. The second part have two branches, and the third part have three branches. This is very easy to remember. First part one branch, second part two branches, third part three branches. And now coming to the names. First part. First part has superior thoracic artery. This is the superior thoracic artery. See, this region is called as thorax. The upper chest region is called thorax, and it is superior. So it is called superior thoracic artery. Very easy name. In the second part, we will find acromiothoracic artery and lateral thoracic artery. Acromiothoracic, because here there will be acromial joint of scapula. So the artery which supplies to the joint is called as acromiothoracic artery. And next, lateral thoracic artery. Laterally or superior thoracic is supplied by the first part. So lateral thoracic is supplied by the second part. Now coming to third part. While coming to third part, we will find here the arm. The arm starts here. Here the shoulder we can say. Coming to arm, here we will have subscapular artery. This subscapular artery, it is posteriorly, it gives to scapula. That's the difference. I will explain it later. Next, coming to anterior circumflex humeral artery. See here at the neck of the humerus, we will find an anastomosis. This anastomosis is formed by anterior circumflex humeral artery and posterior circumflex humeral artery. See the name, anterior circumflex humeral artery. Anterior means anteriorly. Circumflex means which is rounded, and humeral means humeral bone. This is artery, anterior circumflex humeral artery. The posterior is also the same. Now, superior thoracic artery, which is the first branch of the first part. Okay, coming to superior thoracic artery. Here, this thoracic artery is very small, and which arises from the first part of the axillary artery. Here you can see a clear picture. Near the subclavius, it runs down, forwards, and medially. See, you know that medially means towards the center of the body. This is the sternum, which is center of the body. Towards it is called as medial. So it runs downwards, forwards, and medially, and passes between the pectoralis muscle and ends by supplying these muscle. This is the pectoral muscle, and it supplies to this muscle, and it ends. This is very small artery. Next, this is the pectoralis. Here it is supplying to this muscle. Both pectoralis major and pectoralis minor, both muscles are supplied by the superior thoracic artery. Next, coming to acromiothoracic artery. This acromiothoracic artery, it is a branch of second part of the axillary artery, and it emerges at the upper border of the pectoralis minor muscle. It pierces the clavipectoral fascia and soon divides into 4 branches. Here, these branches. First branch is the deltoid to the deltoid. It supplies to deltoid. The second branch is clavicular. It supplies to the sternoclavicular joint and subclavius. The third is acromial joint here, and it supplies to it. So it is called as acromiothoracic artery. It supplies to the acromion and to the thoracic parts. The fourth is the pectoral, and it supplies to pectoral muscles, and this artery also supplies to the breast. So very easy. So second part has 2 branches. In that 2 branches, the first branch acromiothoracic artery again have 4 branches. Which supplies to deltoid is called deltoid. Next, which supplies to sternoclavicular joint, clavicular, acromial joint, acromial, and pectoral, pectoral. Next, coming to lateral thoracic artery. This lateral thoracic artery is also a branch of second part of axillary artery. It emerges and runs along the lower border of the pectoralis minor muscle in close relation to axillary lymph nodes. This is the lateral thoracic artery. See, it arises from the lower border of pectoralis minor muscle. And in females, this artery is large and gives off lateral mammillary branches to the breast. This both acromion second part branches, acromiothoracic and lateral, both supplies to the breast. But in females, it is large, lateral thoracic, and also supplies to breast. And this acromiothoracic, it supplies in both males and females to the. Next, coming to subscapular artery. This subscapular artery is the largest branch. Which is the smallest branch I said? Do you remember? It is the superior thoracic artery. Next, coming to the subscapular artery. It is the largest artery, and we will have to read separately about this because it forms the scapular anastomosis at the scapula. So a brief point I'll say here, it runs along the lower border of the subscapularis, terminates at the inferior angle of the scapula. This is the inferior angle here. It terminates here and it gives to circumflex scapular artery. It gives many branches, but the circumflex scapular artery forms the anastomosis. Circumflex is rounded. It forms anastomosis around the scapula. It passes through the triangular intermuscular space. See, here you can see in this picture, which is anterior view, this is the triangular part, space. There are three spaces, right? This is the triangular space. From this, it arises anteriorly. From this space, it goes back in this way, here posterior. It comes like this and winds around the lateral border of scapula. This is the lateral border and takes part in anastomosis. So this is the subscapular artery. Next, coming to anterior circumflex artery. This anterior circumflex artery, it arises at the lower border of subscapularis muscle and it winds around the surgical neck of humerus. This is the most important artery while doing any surgeries or any OPs. At this point, the surgeon should and the surgeon will be very much careful about this anastomosis, because any damage to this any bone fracture or anything happens to the bone, the first and foremost artery which is affected is the anterior and posterior circumflex artery. So it is the most important artery and we should be very careful during the surgeries. And it also gives ascending branches. And next, coming to posterior circumflex artery. This is a posterior circumflex artery. This is also large. It runs backwards through quadrangular space. So remember, anterior circumflex artery, this subscapular artery passes through the triangular space, whereas the posterior circumflex artery passes through the quadrangular space. Here you can see very nice picture. This is the quadrangular space. Through this space, this posterior circumflex artery enters along the axillary nerve and it supplies to shoulder joint, deltoid muscle and forms anastomosis with anterior circumflex artery. Next, coming to some applied aspects.
Now coming to applied aspects of axillary artery. There are not much applied aspects for this axillary artery, but a few are there which we will discuss it now. Clinically, this brachial artery is most important than the axillary artery, but we'll discuss about axillary artery now.
Axillary artery pulsation can felt against the lower part of the lateral wall of axilla. Mostly these are not pulsated, but we can pulsate this artery in the lateral wall of axilla because it is most close to it. Next, coming to another applied aspect. So in order to check any bleeding during injuries, operations or amputations, anything to check the bleeding of this distal part, that is the third part of the artery, we can compress the humerus in the lower part of the and lateral wall of axilla and we can see whether it is bleeding or not. So this axillary artery is much close to the lateral wall of axilla and we can pulse it there and we can also check the bleeding by compressing it. So for today, this is about all about axillary artery, its relations, its branches, positions, and applied aspects. Thank you.